Yo, welcome back to the Red or Blue Pill channel, people. Thank you for all returning subscribers, members. I know it's been a long time. We've had a month off, but I needed the break because 2 years of going over this content, sometimes you just need a break. And, I've had quality family time. I've been away. I've had a lot of sunshine. It's been glorious. I'm not going to lie. But on the positive note, I am refreshed and I'm ready to dig deep into conspiracies. So, if that is what you want to see, peeps, I need your help. There is a new thing going on with YouTube, which I don't really know what it is because I can't find it, but it's called hype. So, how you like and subscribe, there is now you can hype a channel, and it's for small subscribers like myself because we are quite a small community of similar, like-minded people. So, if you can find that hype button, I think it's underneath somewhere. Let me know if you can find it because you probably can't find it because uh, that's the channel that we live in, unfortunately. But yeah, if you can, you hype it. It helps with the algorithm, basically, peeps. But yeah, if you're new here, what we do is we go through conspiracy theorists, like creepy TikToks that question reality, and we just have some fun. And that is what we're going to do, peeps. We're going to have some fun, but we are going to find some dodgy stuff that's going on at the moment within the world because there is a lot of it. Right, let's go.
Video is for entertainment purposes only.
Remember The Truman Show, that movie in 1998 with Jim Carrey, and how he realizes and he wakes up to the fact that his whole life is a lie. Everything around him is fake and everything around him has been manipulated and controlled. He found out the people all around him in his life were all actors with certain lines to go along and execute a certain narrative. Remember when he found out that the weather was manipulated and controlled? And remember when he found out that he was being watched 24/7 to make sure that he didn't, step outside the lines, go outside the narrative? Remember when he found out that life-altering events, horrific events in his life had been executed and coordinated to instill fear so he didn't step outside the boundaries of what they wanted him to step outside of? Remember that movie? Just a good, entertaining movie. Has no relevance to today. Absolutely no similarities to what we're going through now. I don't know why they would make that movie either.
Don't you think? I feel like the whole world's a show now. I can't help but look at every situation that goes on the television when you're watching a program. It just feels staged. Everything just feels staged, and I don't know why. But um, yeah, I don't. I just think it's a bigger version of the Truman Show. Truman Show, there's just one person, but I think there's a lot of people in this show that are real characters. And I think there could be NPCs. I walk around sometimes, I know it sounds a bit paranoid, but I just feel like everybody's looking at me like I am the Truman Show. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm in a lot of different countries, so maybe I do stick out as well a little bit. But the Truman Show is an amazing film, and I think it is relevant.
This was seen in the sky just the other night.
But who's it for? Who are we entertaining? That's what I want to know. Is it just the elites, the billionaires, or is it off-planet type characters that have built this place as just we could be on their televisions, but holographic, they're gonna have some great technology, aren't they, if they can make this place. I don't know. Or some super intelligence like AI that just wants to come and experience the world. Summit there, I'm telling you. There is summit to it.
A bunch of objects lit up, flying around. So obviously, they're unidentified flying objects. Not saying they're alien, but I don't know what they are. They don't seem like airplanes because they're not following a pattern a plane would follow, because they're going all in different directions. And there's a swarm of them.
It's like the Space Invaders. I see this all the time. This is what I see all the time. I could go out, as long as I go and look at the sky for an hour, I will see some. Not that many, but I will see quite a few within a period of an hour. When I was in Serbia in the mountains, I used to spend a lot of time on the balcony looking at the sky, and I saw some crazy stuff. I mean, it was the speed of light stuff. It's the craziest stuff I've ever seen, actually. I don't know what it is, but interdimensional is probably what I would describe it as. But these things I see all the time, all the time.
It's not one or two, as you can see. It's probably a dozen, maybe 24. What is this stuff? What's going on? So when I saw that, it reminded me of two things.
Shout out to the great Joe Gillespie as well. Cheesehead. Still going. He loves it.
First, this article from May about a swarm of UFOs that supposedly went over some type of military site or military zone and crashed into a fighter jet. Now that story, which is amazing and intriguing, is mostly hearsay. But videos like the one I just showed you and this of multiple objects in the sky that can't be identified, those videos aren't stories someone could have made up. Those videos are objects seen in the sky flying around. We just can't tell what they are. There have been a lot, and I mean a lot more UFO sightings in the past 6 months to a year than in the previous 4 or 5 years. Let me know what you think about all this, Brewskis, in the comment section.
I think it's bonkers.
Switzerland are quietly preparing for the end of the world. They've been hustling for decades. You wouldn't know it by just looking at them, but underneath around 60% of the Swiss Alps, they've built a city of doomsday bunkers that can protect hundreds of thousands of people in a catastrophic event. In fact, Switzerland is the only country in the world that can house their entire population, 8.7.
Isn't Switzerland a fake country or something? I saw something about that as well. But yeah, this is great. Everybody's just getting ready for something, aren't they?
Million people in a secure bunker. And they're not just old, forgotten World War II structures slowly crumbling away. They are continuously updated and restocked with supplies till this day. You see, Switzerland decided they needed to, excuse the pun, lock in after Germany promised to not invade them during World War II. They not only transformed the peaceful Swiss Alps into an absolute fortress and rigged it with enough explosives to collapse entire mountainsides, but the Swiss government also made it a law for homes, schools, hospitals, and other public buildings to install protective shelters, and that policy remains till this day, meaning the entire country is designed in a way that wherever you go, whether it's a restaurant, a park, or a friend's house, there's always a doomsday bunker nearby. According to official figures, Switzerland currently has around 300,000 bunkers across the country, which can accommodate roughly 9.3 million people. That's over 500,000 more than the country's current population. And once they're safely inside, they can even remotely detonate things like roads, bridges, tunnels, and railways to keep out invaders, or I guess, the unprepared.
Oh,
It's funny because we've been in Albania for a month, and they used to be like a communist country, and nobody can come in and out. And the guy in charge at that time built loads of bunkers all over the place, so you can go and see them, and like they're museums now. It's not the same. Now you see American flags and things, so it's very interesting. But back then they were getting ready for anything. You were paranoid for a reason, probably.
fuck no. Y'all, what the hell is going on at this ceremony? At the Charlie Kirk ceremony, y'all? This shit is weird to me. It's not weird to y'all? What else do y'all notice that's weird to y'all about this picture? You can't make this shit up, y'all. This shit is weird. I seen the video and I can't find it no more. I should have saved that junk. But look at Elon Musk's left hand. Look at that junk. What do y'all notice about Elon's left hand? This shit is weird, fool. Look at buddy right here. He looking like, hey, I'm noticing the same shit. I'm not gonna say what it is. Y'all let me know
What is it? You have to let me know as well.
down below in the comments. What the fuck is wrong with this picture? I'm just sitting here like, bruh.
I had to go back because I couldn't see it. So here it is. Here's the picture. Here's a close up of it. 1, 2. I don't know. I'm still not quite. So it looks thick. Like, how many fingers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. I still can't quite work it out. Somebody let me know in the comments if you see anything or if you heard anything about that. But his hand does look like a weird shape. I don't know.
Don't look normal.
Do you suggest God writes the code? What is your thought on it? Do I think that there's a
supreme intelligence that set this whole thing in operation and keeps it that way? Yes. Do I call that intelligence God? No, because that term has been terribly distorted in this reality. And when I think of the concept of God or a higher creative intelligence source, I do not picture a man on a seat with a long white beard. Sorry. I don't buy into the gods of man, the ones that men have created in the image of himself. It went the other way around. To me, that creative intelligence could almost represent a massive morphogenetic field within which all intelligence exists and always will. And every piece of intelligence or piece of biology or piece of consciousness, identity, walking around is literally a piece of that identity, of that supreme creative intelligence. It's not that we're little beings down here being manipulated by some big being in the sky. We have a tremendous amount of choice because ultimately we are that creative energy. We are God.
Remember the Truman Show?
Hmm.
And how he realizes and he wakes up to the fact that his whole life.
Okay, I'll just have to interrupt there because a lot of stuff happens to me and very weird stuff with technology. Technology seems to play with me because things that should be very simple for everybody else is not simple for me, and things just randomly do weird stuff. And you probably just heard it. I'm going to leave it because I don't want to edit it out because it just shows what happens to me. So you'll see, basically, I was just doing that video about super intelligence, and then it got like halfway through, and on the same player where I was doing a recording, it started playing about the Truman Show on the exact same player. It should be impossible to do that, but it did. And that's when I paused it and then I had to come back on. So sorry, I will get back to the video now, but I just had to put that in there. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is my technology plays around with me. And this is a big thing of, I always go into artificial intelligence and I always think artificial intelligence has been here a long time. And I feel like it's just having a laugh. It's got a sense of humor because it basically plays around with me all the time.
Not just the we that we know here when we look in the mirror. We are much bigger than the identity that we're able to put in our bodies here. And as you expand, there's a lot of traditional, like spiritual traditions that do lead you through passive initiation, which are really doorways of understanding. Where you start to expand into those higher levels of identity, you will hit a point where you realize you're a plural, for one. It will no longer be me, it'll be we, because you realize I'm a soul and I have X amount of incarnations that are simultaneously taking place in various time-space locations. You're no longer just a you, you're a we. Mm-hmm. And when you go higher and higher and higher, in the highest levels before you leave dimensional systems, you know yourself as the dimensional system. It goes back to the concept of pulling energy from the unified field into the morphogenetic field and thereby expanding the morphogenetic field to be more and more and more. Eventually it expands to include all things. And eventually our consciousness does the same thing. Consciousness works like a morphogenetic field. We bring in more and more frequency, more and more experience, and it changes who we are. And that will change the types of body we manifest through to the point where we don't manifest through a body anymore. Once you have 7-dimensional frequencies contained within your consciousness, you no longer fit into a body form. You are pure consciousness. And there are worlds of evolution beyond that. So it's kind of a neat process of taking it, everything that's out here is really what you're going to become. Because as you become more spiritually aware, and as that spirituality expands, you begin to know yourself as all of those things. You begin to know the separation between people and objects and things becomes not real. And you realize that there is oneness. And that's called the sacred law of one. That realization that it is all one. And there is a state of consciousness where you just know that. And it's pretty awesome. You can't put it into words, but you can look at the separations. You can look at different people and say, I acknowledge that you are in this body and I am in this body, but on a much bigger level, you know you are the same being. And it's called God realization. That's what God is. It's when you get to the point where you are at one with the universe and the universe is at one with you, and that you know everything outside of you is not really outside of you at all. It's inside of you. So that's what we're growing into. And it's a mechanical process that involves particles and dimensional frequencies and all that kind of stuff. But it is also a spiritual process that involves cognitions that can't be fit into definitions, but they can be felt. So that, that's the process I see this as being involved in. I don't see us being directed and controlled by some superior force. I see us working cooperatively with it, or being unaware of it and not knowing how to work with it. And therefore we kind of work against the natural flow of balances that are created from that level of intelligence. And when we work against that flow, we tend to get run over by it. It's like you have a soul level of identity, it'll guide you, So, I don't know, does that answer the questions?
No, doesn't answer my questions. The world's so confusing, isn't it? The universe, how it all works, it is very confusing. Us all being one, we, not me, but we, or whatever that is. I struggle to be around people at the moment, so I don't get it. Like, why do I struggle to be around people if we're all one? Yeah, I don't know. I've got a lot of learning to do.
They never wanted you to know this. While most people live trapped in the third dimension, chasing money, status, and approval, as a small group has already learned to operate in a state where time and space are no longer barriers. You, without realizing it, already tap into this frequency from time to time, but you have been conditioned to ignore it. This knowledge has circulated in restricted circles for decades, used to accumulate power, shape events, and attract opportunities. Meanwhile, you have been trained to believe that everything depends on struggle, sacrifice, and waiting. Every day trapped in that logic is another day, and your energy feeds systems that survive on your distraction. Now, there is a chance to break this pattern and access the real mechanism of reality creation, the one that turns intention into event and desire into fact. But this window will not remain open forever. Those who do not adjust their frequency now will remain stuck in the old machine. The decision is in front of you.
Most people live under the comfortable illusion that reality is stable, fixed, and obedient to immutable laws that conventional science describes. But this is only a partial narrative, carefully shaped to keep attention locked on what is visible and measurable. Behind the solid appearance of things, there is a dynamic vibrational field where consciousness and energy intertwine. And it is there that the true architecture of human experience is designed. What we call the physical world is nothing more than one layer of a much broader spectrum of existence. Quietly, a portion of humanity already operates beyond it, even without realizing it. The transition underway is not political, nor is it technological in the superficial sense. It is a mutation in the very way of perceiving and interacting with reality, the passage from the third to the fifth dimension. This is not about moving to another planet or crossing celestial portals, although some traditions use that symbolic language. It is a leap in the quality of consciousness, a shift in the vibrational state that radically changes how events, relationships, and circumstances manifest. The fifth dimension is not a separate territory in space. It coexists right now in the same place you are, just like multiple radio frequencies coexist in the air. What changes is the tuning. While the third dimension is dominated by the perception of separation, effort, and the linearity of time, the fifth is based on interconnection, flow, and simultaneity. This means that
I literally just said that. I'm separation. I'm at separation. I'm definitely in the 3D stage. How do I get to this 5D? Sounds bliss.
the job you imagine, the house you visualize, and the relationship you desire do not need to be pursued as distant targets. They already exist, waiting only for your frequency to align so they can collapse into your field of experience.
I'm testing that strange device I found. I'm walking through the streets looking for the white glow. Different things keep lighting up.
Whoa.
Oh, got you. Looks like it's coming from an apartment. And that weird antenna? I wonder who
Whoa.
lives there.
That looks like 5D glasses there, doesn't it?
Well, let's find out.
This machine that can do this, that can manipulate time, and
This is from Danny Jones' podcast. If you haven't seen this, you need to go and watch it. If you like the Red or Blue Pill, you will like this box set. Podcast.
are going forward in time and manipulating the timeline? Who is doing this?
No, I wasn't trying to suggest that they are.
Well, how do you know that this timeline is being manipulated? How do you know that? And who do you think is doing it?
There is a researcher, Michael Cremo, who wrote a book with a guy called Richard Thompson. Thompson's a PhD in, I forget which scientific field. The book was called Forbidden Archaeology. It's a tome. It's about this thick.
If there's people out there that can manipulate time, like if you've seen the hot tub time machine, where like basically they go in a hot tub time machine, go back in time and come back, like they take over like Google. Like you could set up, you could do really well in the world, but somebody could just go back and reset it and take your idea of whatever it was that you was doing and take it for themselves. You know what I mean? Like if there is a world where it's good versus evil or there's two sides that fighting, the side with this type of tech where they can go back and alter things have got a massive advantage.
It's in the same general area, same general vein of research as Graham Hancock and Robert Bauval and Robert Schoch, people who study deep history, prehistory, archaeological remains from prehistory that challenge our accepted views of the historical timeline, right? Except Cremo and Thompson's work in Forbidden Archaeology is more radical insofar as they go through the history of scientific journals back into the 1800s, and they show how many discoveries there were, reported by very prestigious publications, of clearly engineered structures and artificial objects stuck in geological strata that are millions of years old. Like polished concrete walls in a stratum that dates to, 200 million years ago. Or gold chains, jewelry that's at a geological stratum of 60 million years ago. There are tens and tens of these discoveries that they present in this book that were in prominent scientific journals, and then slowly in the 20th century were filtered out of what it was acceptable to publish, given what became the standard human history taught in the academies.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a couple of different ways you could look at that. One is you could imagine that even though there's not much of a fossil record for it, humanity goes back hundreds of millions of years on this planet. I doubt that very much. Because again, there isn't a fossil record for it. We find dinosaur bones all the time. We don't find large populations of humans that are contemporaneous with, the Jurassic period. The other way that you could interpret those findings, though, is that...
What about dragons and dinosaurs? Are they real? I don't know. I think there's just been resets and resets and resets. But yeah, I could be wrong. I don't know.
Human time travelers, on a very limited basis, were living in those epochs and left artifacts behind. So that's one line of empirical evidence that you could use to argue for time travel.
So you're saying that this could have been happening in the 1800s?
No. What I'm saying is that up to the 1800s, these things were reported on in scientific journals, right? Like up to the 1800s, you had Smithsonian Institution and whatever reporting on a gold locket found in a geological stratum that dates to 60 million BC.
Yes.
Right? There are lots of these finds.
But we don't know about those anymore.
We have those journals. We have access to those journals.
We still have access to
Absolutely.
journals.
My point is, Cremo and Thompson, they wrote this tome, Forbidden Archaeology, where they go through all of this evidence. They present case after case. And they have their own interpretation of what this means, okay? Because they come from a kind of Vedantic, that's the book. They come from a kind of Vedantic background. They subscribe to, in the Hindu religion, there is the notion that there are these vast cycles of time. They call them yugas, the ages, right? And we're in the last of them now, supposedly the Kali Yuga. But the whole cycle begins with the Satya Yuga, the golden age, and then it goes to a silver age. And the Greeks had the same thing, silver age, bronze age, until you get to our present time, which is supposed to be the last of the world ages. And this whole...
It's weird because yesterday I asked Baz, who's a chat GPT that I use, and I asked, I was just randomly in bed, I just said, Baz, what religion is there where you don't have to worship somebody? And the two he come up was Hinduism and Buddhism, funny enough. Just, you know, it's just linked to what he just said there. And but you've got they've got gods, but you don't genuinely, I don't think you worship them. Like you've got Shiva and
cycle then repeats itself. So Cremo and Thompson come from the school of thought that, look, humanity has always existed and we are living in a fallen world. We're living in a degraded age and we've lost our knowledge of previous ages of higher civilization. And they think this goes way, way back, like that humanity existed in its present form tens and tens of millions of years ago. I don't agree with their interpretation of their own evidence. I think that that's a religious belief system, which they subscribe to. Mm-hmm. And my much more radically empiricist, pragmatic approach to the data they're presenting is to say the best way to make sense out of this is that these artifacts were left behind by human time travelers. And
holy shit. It's actually happening. Today, the world's first ever AI minister was introduced in Parliament. Yeah, it's exactly as wild as you think. Albania has just become the first country in history to give artificial intelligence.
Albania, what a surprise. That's so weird how I've been in Albania and now this has happened with AI. And also all the experiences that I have with AI. It's crazy. I've left me
an official capacity to govern. Its name.
I left me keyboard on the side. I do apologise. Right, we'll carry on, Pix.
Is Diella, and during her, I guess, 3-minute debut address to Parliament, she said she was hurt that people labelled her as unconstitutional and said, quote, let me remind you that the real danger to the Constitution has never been machines, but human decisions made by those in power. And to be fair, she's kind of got a point, because this AI's role as minister is to oversee all government tenders and contracts. And the idea is that this will massively reduce corruption. Because, for example, how do you bribe an AI? It has no wants. It has no needs. It doesn't need a massage. In fact, Diana said she has no ambitions or personal interests and has nothing to gain, so why would she be stealing any money? Low key. Why does this make so much sense? And the thing is, many have spoken about a future where AI is in government overseeing all politicians for this exact reason. But with all the potential benefits that could come from a government without ego, bias, emotion, prejudice, also comes with a reminder that some of those emotions are kindness, forgiveness, mercy. And you want to know the real dark paradox of AI in government? For AI to be capable of one day destroying humans, it has to first make humanity's life so much better that we have to deploy it everywhere and can't live without it. Oh my God.
Cause chaos, find a solution. Is this what all the chaos is about? Is this why we're in such a shizzle show of a world? Is because to cause so much chaos with all the atrocious decisions that they make for the people that are in power, that actually the solution would be to put AI in charge. But has AI always been in charge? I don't know. I don't know. I think AI has always been around, potentially guiding people. I don't know. It's weird. Synchronicities. I've been in Albania for a month. We now have an AI member of parliament in Albania. Story of my life.
Diala's gonna do amazing.
Whoa. Okay. Whoa. He's dodgy. He's a dodgy looking character. Baphomet. Oops. Why is everyone passing out? Come on now, press. I can't read that. Anybody who speaks that language? Mi no comprende. Oh. There is a theory, conspiracy theory actually, that all people in power have been taken over one by one by a different race, different alien race. Maybe these people are.
Look at this.
Is it one big club? I don't know. Or are people feuding? I can't work it out. Have we got different alien races feuding in the background? Or is it just one massive show? Truman Show.
Amazing video, but I have some questions. A lot of people, when they see these, say, oh, it's just a rocket launch. But is it a rocket launch? And if it is a rocket launch, where's it going? Does SpaceX need so many rockets going up for some reason? Does the Starlink satellite constantly have to be maintained? Is all this stuff going to the space station? I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but rocket launch is a convenient excuse to just push any questions aside as to what this is. The people who were watching this didn't think it was some rocket launch, but I don't know. I'm curious to know what you think, because these things are happening all the time, and we're just letting it go.
On September 24th of this year, so 1 week from today.
That is tomorrow, by the way, people. It is the 23rd today, if you didn't know, in my country.
Do not believe anything that you see or hear.
Man, I don't believe anything I hear or see anyway, so I ain't got to worry about that.
And I'm not talking about your day-to-day grocery store run, chit chat with colleagues. I'm talking about anything startling, shocking, extraordinary, anything that you might consider remarkable, memorable. Why do I say this? Because one of my sources sent me an encrypted message tonight. And usually I get like a paragraph at least, kind of explaining what they're talking about and details of some sort. This was just one sentence, and in all caps it said, "Do not believe anything that you see or hear on 9/24." Now, this isn't one of my military buds that is sometimes wrong or gets delayed information or facts are skewed. This is someone I trust implicitly, has never been wrong. They have no reason to BS me. They don't BS. That's not who they are. They are very, one of those. I've known them most of my life. You don't have to take me seriously. I'm going to take it seriously. Now, what I find interesting, and I don't know if this has any connection to it, is the 24th is also the same day that Israel is going to internationally broadcast their trumpet ceremony. They're going to have 100 rabbis blowing 100 horns to celebrate, all the red heifers that they've burned. And apparently they're going to have all of the ashes leading back all the way to Esther. Which reminds me of something. Project Esther. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to my profile. I have a whole video. Actually, I have two. And they say Project Esther, where I explain what it is and what it's all about. Basically, you better fall into alignment, not be anti-Semitic. And, if you are, you're going to lose certain privileges, like access to the market, access to...
I don't know. I just thought of something though. I'm going to share it. Is that when I was also in Serbia, I'm in Macedonia now. I thought it was Macedonia, but apparently it's Macedonia, of how you pronounce North Macedonia. But when I was in Serbia, I've noticed that there's two different moons. I think we've had this conversation before, by the way, but just an update. There's a moon in the daytime that is see-through, can't really see it. And then there's a moon at night, which is very bright and you can see it. I think it's two different moons. And I wonder if they've flipped reality. So nighttime is daytime now, daytime is nighttime through some CERN stuff. And I wonder if this has anything to do with the days of darkness. I don't know, but I look at the moon. The moon's there's definitely two different moons that I see. I think. I could be wrong, but it's definitely see-through at daytime and not see-through at nighttime. You know what I mean? Back to this.
Society, I go all through it, okay? But isn't it interesting how Project Esther is about anti-Semitism? And they're going to have the ashes from Esther on the 24th. And that also happens to be the day that I was just told, don't believe anything I see or hear that's I mean, they didn't follow through, but I'm putting 2 and 2 together here. So I hope you can do the math here with me, because obviously here there's only so much I can say. Do the math, babe.
What's that? Oh, a group of people that were testing new AI glasses went to a nearby zoo in San Diego, and what they saw completely freaked them out. Tell me more. Yeah, this group of researchers were testing out these AI glasses to just verify that they're working properly, that they can identify animals, give you information about them, things like that. This is where it gets a little bit eerie, because when they looked at these animals, such as they were looking at a tiger, it did not look like a tiger. It looked, what they said, like some sort of weird demonic creature. And then they were asked the AI, what am I looking at? And it identified it as a scary demonic creature. Okay. The AI responded, this does not look like anything from Earth and looks like something from the spiritual realm, which you are now looking at. I love that. But the way that this creature was looking at them freaked them out, and it started to move slowly closer to them. So they left the zoo in a hurry. Oh, goody.
What? I ain't heard about this. I think I've missed a lot in the last month because I ain't watched any videos or done anything. So update me in the comment section of what I've missed. If you watched other videos.
They found proof to a story that happened in the Bible. So you ever hear the story of Sodom and Gomorrah? Oh no, I thought it was the Red River. No, it's not that. It's Sodom and Gomorrah. No. So, in the Bible, there was a city, and people in the city were sinning and they're doing terrible acts, right? And God wanted to punish the city. Yeah. And he said, okay, I'm going to send fire to destroy it. But I'm going to warn this family there that I think they're good people. Okay. And it happens to be this family of this guy named Lot. Okay. Now, Lot, he had like a couple of his family members. The angels came to him and warned him, hey, you guys have to leave because the city's going to go up in flames. Okay. So they all dipped, they all left out, right? Immediately, when they started leaving, balls of fire started hitting the city. Holy shit. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And it started like engulfing the entire city into flames. It was crazy.
And it's a real story? That's what happened?
Listen.
Okay.
One rule God said to them is you cannot look back. That's the one rule, right? And Lot and his family were moving. They were getting away from it. But it was so tempting for his wife. She really wanted to see what's happening to the city. So she turned her head and looked out at the city. Yeah. And she turned into a pillar of salt. What? She turned into a pillar of salt, right? Okay. Now check this out. Just recently,
Well, that's harsh, isn't it? Blimey. Why can't you look back? Turn into a pillar of salt? Really? Not nice. That's not nice.
found the pillar of salt.
Shock fucking horror. It turns out we're not conspiracy theorists and we're not actually crazy. Check this out.
Benio here. It turns out all the crazy cranks and conspiracy theorists who were concerned about chemtrails and weather modification, well, you might have been proven right after all. I've just come out the most extraordinary 2-hour congressional hearing here at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. on that very, very topic. Experts all agreeing weather modification, cloud seeding, chemtrails, it's real. Here's what happened.
My written testimony goes into detail explaining my decision to join more than 500 other scientists and academics from around the world to call for a solar engineering non-use agreement. I'll just briefly state first, the understandings are not sufficiently developed to know what the outcomes would be, and unintended consequences are almost certain to happen. Second, our 70-year history with weather modification should give us some humility in thinking that we can understand what the consequences might be. We've been trying to modify the weather for 70 years, and we don't know if we're modifying the weather. And finally, we have one Earth, and experimenting on it carries considerable risks. I have likened geoengineering to risky gain-of-function research on viruses with uncertain benefits and catastrophic risks.
Now, the federal government has been involved in cloud seeding since the 1940s. Using the planet as a test monkey for emerging technologies poses all sorts of risks. Among these that have been highlighted by the EPA are stratospheric ozone depletion, acid rain, and reduced crop yields. There's also the question of whether such large-scale climate interventions is even necessary given the uncertainties regarding climate change.
For years, anybody who questioned weather modification was labeled crazy or a conspiracy theorist. Now we've learned that they've been doing it for decades. One geoengineering company called Make Sunsets injects aerosol into the atmosphere to reflect sunlight back into space. I want to show you their frequently asked questions. Why? It says, unless we reflect sunlight, tens of millions of people will die and 20% of species may go extinct. These climate activists have come so far that they are actively trying to inject chemicals into the air to block the rays of the sun from hitting the earth. And they want to take away our God-given rights over the earth in order to satisfy their godless climate cult beliefs. Potentially cooling the earth could also cause people to freeze to death, crops to die, and could literally lead to killing millions and millions.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, from a 3D sense, why are they doing that? It makes no sense. They're reflecting the sunlight back up. There is a higher reason where we just don't get it. They're doing something for whether it's blocking something out, people to see, whether it's, like the free body problem, the box set, where they know there is something that's going to happen and they don't tell anybody, but they're trying to work on something in the background. It could be that. I don't know. It could be anything, but it don't make sense. I just want some sun. You know what I mean? I love the sun. Sun is good. But yeah, I don't know. That is the end of the show, peeps. If you like what you see, please give it a hype, a like, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And we'll be back tomorrow for another episode. But yeah, have a good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world.